Episode 528.
Not bad at all.
Yi Shu offered a smile and a word of praise, but the one far more tense and excited than him at that moment was, of course, Tiny Herb's captain, Wang Jishi. Wang Jiexi understood Gao Yingji better. He understood the importance of this detail far more keenly. If he missed this chance, it would be another blow to Gao Yingji's confidence. But if he could pull it off, it would be a major boost to his confidence. Even if Gao Yingji lost completely after this, it didn't matter. At the very least, he himself could now see a clear path to victory and knew he possessed the strength to achieve it. And then, Gao Yingji's performance thrilled Wang Jishi beyond measure. That flurry of attacks, as wild and relentless as a storm, showed not a single trace of fear. Clearly, Gao Yingji was pouring everything he had into trying to win this match. Of course, Wang Jishi would have liked to see that outcome. Unfortunately, Gao Yingji's opponent was also demonstrating the value of a true all-star player. He relied on his berserker class, which was more durable than a witch, and his character's stats completely outclassed Mo En's. In the end, he relied on patiently accumulating damage, grinding down Gao Yingji's Mo En through sheer attrition. Wang Jiexi was actually quite satisfied with this outcome, because he believed Gao Yingji could see it too. He hadn't lost due to personal skill or technique, but because of the account character he was using. If Gao Yingji had fielded Vicaria for this match, the outcome could have been very different. The logic behind this decisive move wasn't particularly deep. The commentators and guests had already pointed it out while analyzing the results. After a brief rest, the second match began. Yu Feng, who had ground down his opponent through sheer account strength, was of course severely depleted. The second match didn't last long before the opponent was taken down. Then, Blue Rain's second player stepped up. He carefully preserved the slight advantage Yu Feng had built up over his two consecutive fights and smoothly eliminated his opponent. For the third round, Tiny Herb's anchor and captain Wang Jiexi took the stage. A top-tier player with a god-level character, he dispatched his opponent with almost no damage taken. And for their third challenger, Blue Rain sent up their own top ace, Huang Shaotian. This kind of clash between top-tier players is a common sight in the arena matches. Having the two strongest players from each team as the main event's anchors was an arrangement everyone saw as a foregone conclusion. This was the matchup the audience had been waiting for, and the commentators and guests were perfectly in sync, playing off each other to build the hype. Whether it was just an illusion or not, this third match's prelude felt like it dragged on forever. The battle was finally on. Even before the two sides made contact, a torrent of information was already flooding the chat, and during the approach phase, how could Huang Shaotian possibly stay quiet? A torrent of text, regardless of repetition, just came flooding out. However, trash talk isn't effective against everyone, and Wang Jishi was clearly one of those with a high resistance to it. He ignored Huang Shaotian's spam attack, quietly maneuvering his Vicaria to fly swiftly toward his opponent's location. Huang Shaotian, however, seemed addicted to chatting. Instead of rushing over for a direct confrontation, his character ducked into a side alley. By the time Wang Jiexi fished him out, the spam had already been going on for 3 solid minutes. But in that instant, the spam stopped, replaced by a sky full of flashing sword light. Wang Jishi had been the one on the offensive, but when their avatars finally clashed, it was Huang Shaotian who struck first.
And the moment Huang Shaotian struck, it was with the Blade Master's ultimate skill, Phantom Shadowless Sword. Launching a super move without any setup ended up being the perfect setup itself.
Wang Jishi clearly hadn't expected Huang Shaotian, who'd been playing hide-and-seek and spouting pointless trash talk, to be so rash the moment he finally struck. That massive opening move caught Wang Jishi completely off guard. He'd finally found Troubling Rain and was just pulling Vicaria out of its dive when a wave of sword light surged toward him, his heart lurching in shock. Wang Jiexi reacted on instinct. He dove down, then Vicaria suddenly vaulted into the air, leaping off its broom. The broom spun around, and he tried to fly clear of the danger. But Troubling Rain's sword light flared once more, already locked onto Vicaria. In the end, Vicaria couldn't escape completely. The light touched him, and he was slashed mid-air, then immediately swallowed by that dazzling brilliance. In the very first exchange, Wang Jishi ate a major skill from Huang Shaotian.
Not bad.
Yi Shu gave a nod.
Hey.
Shen Guo was a bit annoyed by Ye Shu's tone. Sure, he was her favorite pro, but Huang Shaotian and Wang Jieshi were never considered weaker than Ye Shu. The way he spoke, as if he were evaluating a bunch of rookies while giving his stamp of approval to fellow top-tier gods, just rubbed Chen Guo the wrong way.
What's up?
Yi Shu himself didn't feel that way at all.
You.
Chen Guo stammered for a moment, unable to find the right words, and finally settled on a single sentence.
What do you think?
It's only just begun.
The moment Yi Shu finished speaking, the phantom sword art concluded. The powerful knockback from its final strike sent Vicaria flying into the wall. Vicaria was stunned from the impact. Troubling Rain was stunned from the skill's recovery frames, and Huang Shaotian, a master of calculation, had precisely timed the duration of both stuns.
The moment the stun ended, Huang Shaotian's troubling rain was already there, a triple slash carrying him swiftly right in front of Vicaria.
That would be the ideal scenario, if his character's stun wore off just before Vicaria's. But in the current situation, there was no possibility of pulling that off. Huang Shaotian had pushed himself to the absolute limit, but even that limit had a gap. Wang Jishi wasn't the type to casually let an opening slip by either. The moment the stun wore off, Vicaria shot skyward on his broom, but then came the shriek of a blade. Huang Shaotian had forcibly cancelled his triple slash and launched a rising dragon slash mid-movement, cutting through the air to intercept. Wang Jishi's retreat was exactly what Huang Shaotian had anticipated.